All right, welcome in. Rapping with Reusse here. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday on Mackie and Judd on the SKOR North YouTube channel. We're gonna surprise you with something. Actually, let's start with this. We can talk about the basketball teams in a second here. Pat, this morning, an article on ESPN.com. Jeremy Fowler,
Yes,
had this piece. Former Vikings beat writer. Deshaun Watson, who spent the 2021 season on the Texans' active roster but did not play, has begun evaluating potential fits for his services in 2022, with the Buccaneers and Vikings among teams on his radar.
I would say the odds of the Wilfs bringing Deshaun Watson into Minnesota are 0. With that past, we are all of America should be sensitive to what Deshaun is accused of doing, but in Minnesota here, we are more sensitive about those things, which is just fine than anybody else. 0 chance he comes here. 0.
So
like I told you, 0 chance Jim Harbaugh came here. I was a little nervous about
the yeah, you were backtracking for a week.
No, he did fly in.
But
by the way, Watson has 22 active civil cases involving either sexual assault or inappropriate behavior during massage sessions. So there are depositions happening. He can't be depositioned until February 22nd, and then maybe I think this is the agent saying, "Hey, there's all this Rodgers stuff out there, Russell Wilson." Mm-hmm. There's all these teams looking for quarterbacks. Don't forget about my guy. And here are some teams he would be interested in.
He's not getting a job until this thing is settled and the NFL has decided what his punishment will be, right?
That's
I would imagine, is this thing are these individual suits, or is they going to be a class action here? The same lawyer was handling all these things, right?
I read today that there are settlement offers out. So I think they're individual at this time.
Okay. All right.
And they're civil at this time.
So let's say everybody gets 100.
Yeah.
Everybody gets 100. What's that? 2.2 million?
And he probably gets suspended then because
yes, he'll get suspended.
He doesn't have to be found guilty. He just has to, if there's a hint of admission, he'll be suspended.
Half a year at least, right? With that much.
So that's a problem right there.
Yeah. So no, you're not taking him. I like him a lot, but he's obviously a moron. So we don't really need.
That's a problem for a quarterback, Pat. Can't.
Huh?
I said that's a definite problem for a QB to be a moron. You don't want a moron at quarterback. That
you know who else isn't disappointing me because I thought he was overrated? Kyler Murray. To find out that Kyler Murray's a little whining wimp who won't take any credit won't take any blame for being rotten at times. I told you that guy makes bad plays all over the place and makes bad throws. He's, talented. He's also short and overrated vastly. And it sounds like Arizona is trying to decide whether they want to move on or not, right?
Yeah, they showed on this Get Up this morning on ESPN. They showed like a 60-second montage of Kyler Murray pouting on the sidelines and like teammates and coaches coming up to him and being like, "Come on, you got to snap out of it." There was even a mic'd up segment on NFL Network a week ago where one of the assistant coaches, like a quarterback's coach or somebody, sat next to him. He's pouting on the bench. Guy sits next to him and says, "You got 30 more seconds, then flush it." 30, like it's a thing all the time. Apparently, he's just like pouting on the sidelines.
Yeah, he's dynamic the way he runs around, but the Vikings should have beat him, kick a field goal, right? And just because of him, because he made about 4 stupid plays in that game. So
yeah,
we're all in on you got to have the mobile, terrific, move around quarterback. There's people mention Mahomes, and then they mention guys like Kyle Murray and Lamar Jackson in the same breath. No, different planets as far as making throws. Now, I'll never explain Pat Mahomes' second half against last in the AFC Championship game as long as I live, but just because you can run around and make a throw once in a while doesn't make you Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, I would put Josh Allen in the same Pat Mahomes bin too. Of like they can move around,
Yes.
and they have ridiculous arms, and they're good decision makers, and for the most part, yeah.
And Allen will make the dangerous throw on purpose, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Kyle Murray and Lamar Jackson make the dangerous throw by accident because they don't know what the hell they're doing. I think that's the difference. Josh Allen says, okay, this guy's double covered 40 yards down the field, but I'm going to throw him a laser. And once in a while it gets tipped, but he's making those plays because he wants to. So
if you pout, you're out. I can't have a pouter. I can't have a guy that goes and hangs his head and feels bad for himself or like just looks at the tablet and starts crying. Bleep that. I'm out.
Yeah, that's
powders and teeth clenchers. Can't have them.
Well,
can't have
a
them in the
combination
NFL.
of both is the worst thing.
I will say, well,
Kirk's staying, fellas. He's staying. Kirk's staying. 3-year extension.
Well,
3-year extension. Yeah. They got no other.
I don't know.
option. There's no quarterbacks in the draft. There's nobody to go get. Really.
Well, there's nobody to go get that's gonna. To me, 2022 is a self-evaluation year. It's a year of go lose 20 pounds and get back out there and try dating again in 2023.
That's true.
Judd here for Olivia.
Did you say you got to find out what's happening in Green Bay? Otherwise, otherwise you're division favorites if Rodgers.
But you're right about Green Bay.
You got to find it. And he's leaving. He's going to Denver. I'm 100% he's leaving because he's not. They can't. He looks and sees them $40 million over the cap and realizes the last 2 years they were better than they're going to be, right? And they couldn't get her done.
He's a weird dude, Pat.
The last 2 years they were better than they're going to be, and
and it's part of it's on him for just not playing well in big moments.
That's true. That's true. And 2 years ago, I would say that against Tampa, LaFleur's would take the bullet for that one. But in this last one, he just stunk. He wasn't good, and they get beat. So anyway,
last night, Pat, the Minnesota Timberwolves missed 42 3-pointers and won.
They won, and because Cat, with about 6 minutes to go, became unbelievable. And my guy, D'Lo, who I've been trying to be nice to, you're inbounding the ball with 9 seconds to go in a tie game, right? Cat hasn't missed. He's making them. He even made one. He usually makes them from down front, right?
Yeah.
He even made one from far corner over on the right-hand side. They throw the ball into you. This drives me insane. Jimmy Butler used to do it. Garnett used to do it. You dribble the clock down to 2 seconds, and then you take some desperation shot.
Yeah.
Move the bleeping ball, and if you score with 5 seconds to go, good.
Yeah.
You're ahead. Let the other team try to call you. This moron dribbles it down to a second and a half and throws a rock. Cat never touches the ball. Why? You got to throw it to him, and they're going to let him take a 25-footer, and he's got a better chance to make a 25-footer than you do dribbling it down to 1.5 seconds.
Why not just run a pick and roll with 4 seconds left?
Yes, I don't know. Like, everybody does this. They do this guy's our star. I don't want to hurt his feelings. Cat, the guy can't miss all of a sudden for 6-7 minutes. Let him get a shot off, or at least touch the bleeping ball.
Listen, I quit basketball in 8th grade, and so I'm not going to pretend to be an X's and O's guys. But a pick and roll spaced out with 2 shooters in each corner with about 4 seconds to go gives you options, right?
And then let me get on one other thing about that game. We just gave $13 million to Patrick Beverley because he's such a genius, a defensive ace, and a leader. Did you see the dumb-ass foul he committed when they're basically dribbling the ball up, admitting they're going to get beat, and he comes in and tries to steal it and gives them a chance to stay alive in the game.
He threw his arm up. He said it was a foul on me.
What's that?
That's Pat Bev ball, baby. That's Pat Bev ball. You're not going to take that out of him. Don't take that out of him.
No idea how much time's left. We just gave him $13 million, and he's a moron too.
No, he's not a moron.
Start a fight, Pat
Bev. He just got a little squirrely.
Go down swinging.
He was a moron at that moment.
He knew the game was over, and he was trying to pester the opposing team on their way to the bus. That's what he was doing.
This team won, boys. This team won last night.
Did.
And the reason why was that Target Center crowd that was so loud because somebody told their dead asses to get up. I've never been yelled at so much by a PA announcer in my life, and I wasn't going to stand up.
Was it that bad?
Oh, yeah. We are now into the...
Well, we wanted to get the attention of it, so we aren't mad at D-Lo anymore for calling us dead ass?
We weren't mad. Inspired. He inspired us, Pat. He inspired me to scream at the TV, give up the ball, you dumbhead, You can't sit down now until they score, Pat.
I love that. It sounds like you're mocking it, but I think he's right. We have dead, quiet-ass fans, but they've been trained to be dead for 17 years. In fairness, that team has been dead for 17 years.
Yeah, so. I don't have any problem with that, right? But this has, particularly about the NBA, as I said, has driven me crazy for 25 years. That you don't run something when the game's tied. You just let somebody throw up a rock. Kevin Garnett hitting the front rim on that shot.
Oh, God,
with 2 seconds to go. 93%, but we'd still run the clear out.
Jimmy Butler statistically was wasn't he 2 for 20 in those situations?
Yeah, but Tibbs, you brought in your guy. He's your guy. You're blah, blah, blah. You don't have to run a clear out for a mediocre shooter. He's a mediocre shooter.
But Garnett took that same shot. Pat, you are right. 1,000. He never would stop. That was the one thing that drove you crazy. It's like, KG, you're great, but quit taking that damn shot.
He made two. He made two in his life, and they showed him on FSN every. Hey, this is
up next.
This is KG only 9 years ago making one of these shots. This young kid.
That is a game, but that is a game last night, despite all these things, right? They don't win that game almost ever in the last 17 years.
Charlotte's not bad either.
They're good.
I mean, LaMelo is really good. Edwards sprained ankle. He probably won't get to play in the Rising Stars game, which he shouldn't be playing in anyway.
Good.
He's too good to be in the Rising Stars.
He's better than Wiggins, of course. Wiggins is a starter in the All-Star game because people feel bad.
But keep him home. Keep him home. I don't want him going anywhere. Keep him home.
He ain't staying home.
But as long as he ices the ankle and doesn't run.
Cleveland. If this thing was in Vegas, maybe Cleveland, he will stay home.
He can go anywhere he wants. Just don't play basketball.
Well, he's not going to play in that game.
Exactly. That's what I want because he's not going to play tonight. They declared him out immediately. Mm-hmm. So he came back before the second half, took some shots, and was declared out. So he's not playing.
Best coach in the NBA coming to town tonight. Nick Nurse, the coach in Toronto.
Yeah, Finchie's buddy.
Great. He's got them playing good again. He basically lost his team, and he's got them good playing. Last year they were pretty damn good. They fell back a little last year, but the year after they won it, they had one of the best teams in the league. He and Finch are apparently buddies from running into each other in Europe, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, now one more thing. Our Gophers last night, while the Wolfies were 13 of 55 on threes, which really made us nostalgic for the first year of the Gerson era, right? When they were taking 40 threes just so they could take 40.
Making 7 of them, yeah.
For no reason. Last night, our fellas were 16 for 52. 30.8%.
That's the Gophers. Gophers,
30.
Not quite as bad as the Wolves. I think the Wolves were 29% last night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but on threes, right? On threes, right?
Oh, you're saying overall the Gophers shot 30%?
Yeah, 16 for 52, 30.8%.
It's over. It's over. The dream is done now.
The dream is done.
The dream of the Ben Johnson
and now,
run.
Penn State beat Michigan State, which is overrated Michigan State.
Would you guys fire Ben Johnson? Would you wait till after the season, or would you just make a move right now?
Columbus. Would have fired him right there. Transportation home, Ben. You figure it out.
You guys remember when we flew in Maturi to fire Munson and in Ohio and Cincinnati, and then he got there and didn't have the guts.
Don't bring that up, Pat.
Didn't have the guts to do it.
Bad day in strip sports history. Don't bring that up.
Wait. I don't know if I've heard this story.
NIT game. He was told to go to Cincinnati. He was told to go to Cincinnati and fire by the president, basically. Go to Cincinnati and fire Munson if they lost. He looked in Munson's eyes and he just didn't have the heart to fire him. So they ended up bringing him back and then firing him 7 games into the next season.
Oh, my God.
On the bus. On the bus. He's like, Dan, I got to talk to you. Oh, it's fine.
Yeah. He was supposed to fire him.
In Cincinnati, they're like getting on the bus and Joel.
Yeah,
we got to talk.
My guy Bracken got me convinced to write a column about the end of the Munson era. Because he said that this was set, that he was going to get fired. So I wrote the column. Then he stays. Thanks, Dennis.
Well, we sort of reported that he was that it was a done deal too.
Yes.
Which wasn't necessarily a good thing
since
we didn't cover it. Well, since we didn't go to the game.
Unfortunately, nobody. Yes, that was a bad part.
That was the problem. We weren't there.
Yeah, and if it's a done deal, somebody should tell the guy who's delivering the message. That was
I think Dan Munson has been at Long Beach State the entire time. He's still there, right?
He's been there forever. Yeah, they're
almost 20 years.
He pops up and wins a game once in a while, and I mean they have a decent year and then they have a bad year. But
did I see your guy Patino won last night?
Wyoming, which has had a real good year last night. House and that House, and then I think he's won 3 in a row. One of them non-conference, but that House guy that they got from Arizona State got 42 the other night. I saw that.
Wow,
he's got good guards.
And Mashburn's playing well, I guess.
Yeah. Well, Mashburn's taking 26 shots a night. He's having the time of his life.
That's all he wanted. Okay,
go Lobos. Go Lobos. I'm sure this is exactly what Patino envisioned for his life at this point.
Yeah, coaching.
Living in New Mexico.
Some jump of a bar post game.
There's some decent teams in that league too, but it's you don't get to stop in paradise too long.
Him and I used to be pretty tight. Did the coaches show together. He never responded after he was let go. I sent him a nice text and he just ghosted me.
Yeah, I think the ship sailed. That was an amazing deal that I don't think we all knew that he knew he was fired for like 2-3 weeks, obviously, because he had the New Mexico job. His firing was announced, and the next day the New Mexico hiring was announced, or not his firing, his resignation or whatever.
Whatever it was. Yeah.
Anyhow, a lot of clanging last night if you were watching basketball, man. A lot of clanging.
Right. A gritty, grinded out win. Pat Bev sending a message at the end of the game. I love it.
8 Jets, 2 tonight, 3 more for Boldy. That's my hockey prediction.
And fights, because there's going to be some fights. How many fights do we get?
Oh, that's right. They got to come and get.
We're mad.
Right. Yeah.
We're still mad.
Aren't we mad? Aren't they mad at Foligno?
They're mad. They're mad too, and so are we.
Well, why are we mad?
Because the reason why the whole thing with Foligno took place was because the guy that he decided knee in the head had given him a cheap shot earlier. And so we're mad about that still.
Oh, okay. All right.
Are we going to drop the gloves at puck drop?
Bruins, North Stars, Boston Garden, 81.
You know what's terrible is there's so few cheap shots in the hockey now that you carry around a resentment for 2 weeks. You should carry around a resentment for 5 minutes because somebody hits somebody else with a stick 5 minutes later, right? I mean,
it's not.
How can you carry around resentments for weeks? There's not enough cheap shots in hockey anymore, right?
No, you're probably right. You're probably right.
Bring back the cheap shot. Let's go.
I still can't get my head around the fact that both of our professional men's teams in the winter right now are fun to watch.
Yeah, that's true. Unless there's 9 seconds to go, and then you want to throw up by what they're doing. But
and their shooting wasn't great, but it's still a nice comeback.
Cat was great though.
God,
it's one of the best games he's played in
he was
the last few years for sure.
All right, gents.
All right, Pat.
All right, see ya.
Go practice your shooting. All right, that's wrapping with Reusse here. Mackie and Judd and the SKOR North YouTube channel.